In a galaxy torn apart by war, the leaders of the Galactic Alliance gathered for a historic meeting. The war had lasted for years, leaving countless worlds in ruins and people longing for peace. Zara, a young and brave alien commander, stood among them. She wore a striking uniform that showed her rank, her bright eyes filled with hope. Zara wanted to believe in peace, but she knew that trust was hard to find. The large meeting hall was filled with tension. Leaders from different planets took their seats, each representing their species and cultures. Some looked weary from the long fight, while others wore expressions of doubt. The air was thick with uncertainty. Zara took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. She had prepared her speech carefully, hoping to inspire the others. As the meeting began, the chief ambassador of the Galactic Alliance stepped forward. His voice echoed in the hall. "Today we stand at a crossroads. We have suffered too long from this war. It is time to put aside our differences and join forces. Together we can rebuild our galaxy." His words were met with a mix of nods and frowns. Zara noticed that some leaders whispered to each other, their skepticism clear. One leader, a grizzled warrior named Crag, stood up. "And why should we trust the humans? They have their own agenda. They only care about themselves." His voice boomed through the hall. A murmur of agreement spread among his followers. Zara felt her heart race. She knew that not everyone understood the potential of humans, but she had seen their courage firsthand. She raised her hand and the room fell silent. "We must give them a chance," she said, her voice steady. "The humans have technology and skills that can help us. Together we can create a stronger alliance." Another leader, a wise elder named Alara, spoke up. "Zara is right. We need to focus on our shared goals. The enemy we face is powerful and relentless. If we do not unite, we risk losing everything." Her calm demeanor soothed some of the tension in the room. As discussions continued, a strange signal suddenly interrupted the meeting. The screens in the hall flickered, displaying an uncharted planet on the edge of the galaxy. A sense of curiosity and dread filled the room. Zara's instincts kicked in. She felt that this signal was important. It could mean danger, but it could also be an opportunity. The chief ambassador addressed the assembly again. "We must investigate this signal. It could be a threat to our peace talks or a sign of hope." He looked around the room, gauging the reactions of the leaders. Some nodded, while others appeared hesitant. Zara's heart raced with excitement. This was her chance to prove the importance of working together. She stepped forward once more. "I volunteer to lead the investigation. If we can understand this signal, we may find allies or resources that can help us secure peace." Her voice rang with determination. After a brief moment of hesitation, the chief ambassador nodded. "Very well, Commander Zara. You will lead a team to investigate. We will support you." The decision sparked a mix of relief and anxiety in the room. The leaders knew this was a critical step. Zara quickly assembled her team. Morgan, a skilled human soldier, was among them. He had proven himself in battle and was respected by both aliens and humans. Zara approached him, feeling a spark of hope. "Morgan, will you join me on this mission? We need your expertise." "Of course," he replied, his eyes shining with determination. "I believe in this alliance, and I will do everything I can to support it." Together, they prepared for the journey to the unknown planet, hoping to uncover the truth behind the signal. As the meeting adjourned, Zara felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to venture into the unknown, but she believed that this mission could change everything. With a deep breath, she gathered her courage. They would face whatever awaited them together, united as allies, and perhaps find the peace they all longed for. Zara and her team prepared for their journey to the unknown planet. The ship hummed with energy as they launched into the vastness of space. Zara sat in the pilot's seat, glancing at the controls and checking the navigation system. Morgan, the human soldier, stood beside her, his presence a comforting reminder that they were not alone in this mission. As they traveled, Zara's mind raced with possibilities. What awaited them on the mysterious planet? Was it a new threat, or could it be a chance for greater allies? She looked at Morgan, who was studying the data on the screen. His brow was furrowed in concentration. "We should be there in a few hours," Zara said, trying to break the tension. "What do you think we'll find?" Morgan turned to her, his expression serious. "I hope it's not just ruins. If there are humans here, they could have technology that we need. But we must be careful. We don't know what we're walking into." As they approached the planet, Zara felt a mixture of excitement and fear. The surface was covered in thick forests and mountains, with signs of ancient structures peeking through the trees. They landed their ship in a clearing, and the team stepped out into the cool air. Zara took a deep breath. The atmosphere felt different here, almost electric with potential. Let's set up a perimeter and scan for any signs of life, she instructed her team. As they moved deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon an enormous structure half hidden by vines and foliage. The walls were made of strange metal gleaming in the sunlight. Zara's heart raced. This was not just any building. It was a cryo facility, a place where beings could be preserved in sleep. Morgan moved closer, examining the entrance. This looks like it hasn't been touched for ages. We should check inside, he said, a sense of adventure sparking in his eyes. Zara nodded, her curiosity piqued. They entered the facility cautiously, the air inside cold and stale. Rows of cryo chambers lined the walls, their surfaces covered in dust. The team switched on their flashlights, illuminating the eerie scene. Zara felt a chill run down her spine. This place held secrets long forgotten. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air. Zara and her team exchanged worried glances. "What was that?" one of the soldiers whispered. Morgan stepped forward, scanning the room. "It sounds like the power is still active. We need to find the control panel and see if we can wake them up." As they searched the facility, they finally found the control room. Morgan worked quickly, typing commands into the ancient computer system. The screen flickered to life, displaying a countdown. Zara's heart raced as she realized they were about to awaken the beings inside the chambers. "Are you sure we should do this?" one soldier asked nervously. "What if they are hostile?" Zara glanced at Morgan, who was already pulling up information on the dormant warriors. "They are human soldiers trained for combat. They might be our best chance at survival." The countdown reached 0, and with a loud hiss, the cryo chambers began to open. A cloud of mist filled the room, obscuring their view. Zara felt her heart pound in her chest as she prepared for whatever would emerge. One by one, the chambers opened, and human soldiers stepped out. They looked confused and disoriented, adjusting to their new surroundings. Captain Morgan stepped forward, ready to lead them. "Welcome back, soldiers. You are safe now. We need your help." The soldiers blinked, processing the information. One tall man with piercing blue eyes stepped forward. "Who are you? Where are we?" Zara introduced herself and explained their mission. "We are forming an alliance to protect the galaxy. We need your skills to help us fight a common enemy." The soldiers exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from confusion to determination. Captain Morgan turned to them. "You were chosen for a reason. We need you now more than ever." Slowly, the soldiers began to nod, understanding the gravity of the situation. They were warriors, and it was time to fight again. With renewed purpose, they gathered around Zara and Morgan, ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. As they left the facility, Zara felt a surge of hope. They had awakened not just soldiers, but allies. Together, they would stand against the darkness threatening their galaxy. United, they would face the unknown, ready to protect their worlds and secure peace for all. The newly awakened soldiers quickly adapted to their surroundings. Zara, Morgan, and the rest of the team briefed them on the situation. They were now a united front against the threat looming over the galaxy. The soldiers listened intently, their expressions serious. Zara could see the fire of determination in their eyes, and it filled her with hope. Days passed as they trained together. Zara and Morgan worked hard to unite the aliens and humans. They taught the soldiers how to fight as one team. The alien soldiers were quick learners, and the humans shared their tactics with enthusiasm. Each day, they grew stronger, their bonds deepening with every shared experience. They felt like a family preparing for battle. One afternoon, while practicing maneuvers, a sharp alarm suddenly echoed through the facility. Zara's heart raced as she rushed to the control room. Morgan was already there, staring at the screen with concern. "It's the enemy!" he shouted. "They're attacking a nearby colony." Zara's mind raced. They had hoped to gather enough strength before facing their enemies, but now it was time to act. "We have to help them. Gather the soldiers!" she ordered. The soldiers assembled quickly, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Zara addressed them, her voice firm. "We have trained hard, and now we must show what we can do. We will defend our allies and protect innocent lives. Together we will fight!" With a roar of approval, the soldiers rallied behind her. They boarded their ship, ready to launch into battle. As they flew through space, Zara and Morgan reviewed their plan. "We need to hit them fast and hard," Morgan said. "If we catch them off guard, we can save the colony." The ship flew swiftly through the stars, approaching the colony. As they neared their destination, Zara could see the chaos below. Enemy ships swarmed around the colony, firing at anything that moved. Explosions lit up the sky and smoke billowed into the atmosphere. Zara's heart sank at the sight. "We have to move quickly," she shouted, taking control of the ship's weapons. "Prepare for combat!" As they descended, the team focused on the enemy ships. Morgan worked the controls beside her, coordinating their attack. "On my mark!" he shouted. 3, 2, 1, fire! They unleashed a volley of missiles, striking the enemy ships with precision. The explosions rocked the battlefield, causing chaos among the attackers. Zara felt a rush of excitement and fear as they entered the fray. The soldiers cheered as they gained the upper hand. But the enemy was relentless. Suddenly, they regrouped and counterattacked. Zara's ship shook as enemy fire hit them. Alarms blared, and she struggled to maintain control. "We're taking damage!" she yelled. "Morgan, assess the situation!" Morgan quickly checked the systems. "We've lost some shields, but we can hold," he shouted. "Just stay focused." Zara nodded, determination flooding her. "Let's show them what we're made of." They pressed forward, weaving through enemy fire and launching their own attacks. The battle raged on, the air filled with the sounds of explosions and shouts of victory. The human and alien soldiers fought side by side, showcasing their newfound unity. As they fought, Zara noticed a larger enemy ship looming in the background. It was heavily armed and positioned to bombard the colony. "We need to take that ship out," she yelled. "It's their command center." Morgan nodded. "I'll coordinate the attack." He relayed orders to the soldiers, and they adjusted their strategy. With a surge of energy, Zara and her team focused their fire on the massive ship. They dodged incoming blasts, their hearts racing with each close call. Finally, after a fierce exchange, their combined firepower struck true, and the enemy ship exploded in a shower of debris. Cheers erupted from their team as they watched the enemy's morale crumble. With their command ship gone, the remaining enemy forces began to retreat. Zara felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had done it. The colony was safe, but the battle had taken its toll. As they landed, Zara felt the weight of their victory and the sacrifices made. They had proven that together they could face anything. The bond between humans and aliens had grown stronger in battle, and now they stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Zara looked at her team, proud of what they had accomplished. "This is just the beginning," she said, her voice steady. "We will keep fighting for our future, united as one." The victory over the enemy brought a wave of relief and hope to Zara and her team. The soldiers celebrated, their laughter echoing in the halls of the facility. But even as joy filled the air, Zara felt a nagging doubt. Victory was sweet, but they needed to stay vigilant. She knew the enemy would not give up easily. Days passed, and the team worked to repair their ship and improve their defenses. Zara led training sessions, making sure every soldier was ready for the next fight. Morgan helped her coordinate the training, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Together, they had created a united front that the galaxy had never seen before. One evening, as the sun set, Zara gathered the soldiers for a meeting. "We have fought hard, but we must be careful," she said, her voice firm. "The enemy is still out there, and we must remain strong. There may be threats within our ranks as well." Morgan nodded in agreement. "Trust is crucial. We need to watch each other's backs," he added. "We can't afford any surprises." As the meeting concluded, Zara felt a sense of unease. She had noticed strange behavior from one of the soldiers, a young alien named Kieran. He had seemed nervous lately, often wandering off alone. Zara made a mental note to keep an eye on him. That night, while the others rested, Zara decided to investigate. She slipped out of her quarters and followed Kieran into the shadows of the facility. He moved quietly, glancing over his shoulder as he made his way to the control room. Zara crept closer, her heart pounding with curiosity and concern. Peeking through the door, she saw Kieran speaking into a small device, his voice low and urgent. "Yes, I understand. I will do it," he said, his tone laced with fear. "But they are getting stronger. We need to act quickly." Zara's breath caught in her throat. Kieran was a traitor. He was communicating with the enemy. She needed to gather evidence before confronting him. As Kieran continued his conversation, she quietly retreated to find Morgan. Zara found him in the training room, working with a few soldiers. "Morgan, we need to talk," she whispered urgently, pulling him aside. She quickly explained what she had witnessed. Morgan's expression shifted from surprise to determination. "We need to catch him in the act," he said. "Let's set a trap." The next night, they planned their move. Zara and Morgan positioned themselves near the control room, ready to confront Kieran when he returned. They waited, hearts pounding with tension. The facility was quiet, the only sound the distant hum of machinery. Finally, Kieran appeared, looking around cautiously before entering the control room. Zara and Morgan exchanged a glance, their resolve firm. They quietly approached the door and listened. Kieran spoke again, his voice urgent. "They are onto us. I need more time to gather information. The humans and aliens are working together, and if they find out what I'm doing, it's over." With a shared nod, Zara and Morgan burst into the room. "Kieran!" Zara shouted. "What are you doing?" Kieran jumped, panic flashing across his face. I was just checking the systems," he stammered, his voice shaky. Morgan stepped closer, his eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to us. We heard everything. You're a traitor, and we have proof." Kieran's expression changed from fear to defiance. "You don't understand. The enemy promised me power and safety. I did this to save myself." Zara shook her head, anger rising in her chest. "You could have helped us!" "We are fighting for everyone's future, and you chose to betray us." Kieran's bravado faltered as the reality of his actions sank in. "I thought I could control it," he admitted, his voice weak. "But they're too strong. They know everything." Morgan stepped forward, determination in his eyes. "You will help us now. We need to know what the enemy is planning." Kieran hesitated, fear and regret battling in his eyes. Finally, he nodded, realizing he had no choice. "Okay, I'll tell you what I know," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. As Kieran revealed the enemy's plans, Zara felt a mix of anger and pity. He had let fear drive him to betrayal, but now they had a chance to turn things around. They would use his knowledge to prepare for the next battle. With Kieran's information, Zara and Morgan began to strategize. They would not let the enemy take them by surprise again. The bond between humans and aliens had been tested, but they would rise stronger from this betrayal. Together, they would fight for their freedom and ensure that no one else would betray their cause. As the sun rose, Zara felt renewed determination. They had uncovered a secret that could change the tide of the war. The fight was far from over, but they would face it head-on, united and stronger than ever. The sun rose over the facility, casting a warm glow on the determined faces of Zara, Morgan, and their team. The revelation of Kieran's betrayal had shaken them, but they used that knowledge to strengthen their resolve. They now knew the enemy's plans and could prepare for the fight ahead. Zara gathered everyone in the main hall, where the atmosphere was tense but filled with purpose. The soldiers, both human and alien, stood together, ready to hear their leader's words. "Today we stand united," Zara began, her voice steady. "We know what the enemy plans. They think we are weak, but they are wrong. We are stronger together." Cheers erupted from the crowd, and Zara could see the determination in their eyes. Morgan stepped forward to support her. "We have trained hard and we have fought side by side. Now it's time to show our enemy what we are capable of." He raised his fist in the air, igniting the spirit of unity among them. The soldiers cheered again, their voices echoing off the walls. Zara felt a surge of pride as she looked around at her team. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The plan was simple yet bold. They would take the fight to the enemy before they had a chance to regroup. Using Kieran's intelligence, they would launch a surprise attack on the enemy base. They had the advantage of knowledge, and they intended to use it. That night, the team prepared for battle. Soldiers checked their weapons and equipment, their faces serious but focused. Zara moved through the ranks, offering words of encouragement. "We are not just fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for our future, for peace, and for everyone who believes in our cause," she said, her voice strong. As they boarded their ships, Zara felt a mix of excitement and fear. This was it, the moment they had trained for. As they flew through space, she glanced at Morgan, who was piloting their ship. He gave her a reassuring nod, and she felt a wave of calm wash over her. They arrived at the enemy base under the cover of darkness, the stars shining above them. Zara's heart raced as they prepared to attack. "Remember the plan," she reminded her team. "We strike hard and fast. No hesitation." With a deep breath, Zara gave the command. The ships moved in unison, launching their assault. The enemy was caught off guard, their defenses weak from the previous battles. Zara's team took full advantage, firing missiles and lasers with precision. The battle raged on, explosions lighting up the sky. Zara and her soldiers fought bravely, moving as one unit. They covered each other, their teamwork evident as they dodged enemy fire and launched their own attacks. Each victory brought shouts of triumph from their ranks, strengthening their resolve. But just as they thought they were gaining the upper hand, a larger enemy ship appeared from the shadows. It was heavily armed and aimed straight at them. "We need to take that ship down!" Morgan shouted, urgency in his voice. Zara nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Let's focus our fire!" she ordered. They concentrated their attacks on the massive ship, determined to bring it down before it could inflict serious damage. The fight was intense, but their unity was their greatest weapon. As they worked together, they struck the enemy ship with powerful blasts. Slowly, it began to weaken, and Zara felt hope blooming within her. With one final push, they launched a coordinated attack that shattered the enemy ship. It exploded in a brilliant display of light, and cheers erupted from their team. The tide had turned. The remaining enemy forces, seeing their command ship destroyed, began to retreat. Zara and her team pressed on, pushing back the enemy and reclaiming their territory. They had proven that they could stand together against any threat. As the battle came to a close, Zara looked at her team with pride. They had fought not just for themselves, but for a brighter future. The bond between humans and aliens had grown stronger, forged in the heat of battle. Together, they had created a new alliance, one built on trust, bravery, and shared purpose. In the aftermath of the battle, Zara stood with Morgan and Kieran looking out at the stars. "We did it!" she said, her voice filled with emotion. "We showed them what we can achieve when we stand united." Kieran, humbled by the experience, nodded. "I see now what it means to be part of something greater. I won't forget this." Morgan smiled, clapping him on the back. "We are all in this together now. This is just the beginning of our journey." Zara felt a sense of hope wash over her. They had faced darkness and emerged victorious. As they looked toward the stars, they knew that together they could face any challenge. The future was bright, and they would continue to stand united, ready to protect their new home and each other.